So today we are going to make mac and cheese with a twist. That being said, I would need you to be ready for labs. You're going to have your hair tied up, your apron on, closed-toed shoes, and then of course you're going to wash your hands with warm soapy water to prepare. As far as mac and cheese with a twist, what it involves, it is 8 ounces of macaroni noodles, and our macaroni noodles is actually kind of cooking behind us, just finishing up. We have a half a cup of Velveeta cheese that we have cubed, as you can see on our cutting board here. We have a 1/4 cup of cooked spinach, which is on our front plate. We have 1/4 cup of cooked peas, again on our front plate. On this side is going to be our raw meat. So what I emphasize a lot in class is to make sure that we separate our raw from our cooked items, okay? Because of all of the contaminations that you can do. People can get sick if you're not very careful with your foods. So again, this is probably one of a lesson that we would cover in class, just so you know. As far as our raw meats that we have, we're going to cook up some bacon, because we're going to have some bacon in our dish, and then of course we're going to cube up and cook up some chicken. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our 2 meat products that we have. So the first one is we're going to actually start with our cooked bacon, and then we're going to do our chicken. We're going to actually just prep our meat right now, and then I'm going to go ahead and take it over there to the stove so you can kind of see what's going on. But the whole point of this dish is to use the different tools and gadgets that we have, and then of course familiarizing yourselves with the stovetop in a safe manner, so that way everyone has a good dish that you can eat and prepare at home. So the first thing is our bacon. So what we're going to do is you have 2 options as far as knives goes that will be out routinely. Our knife for always as our staple is our chef's knife, so you can always use that if you're comfortable with that. And then we have our paring knife. This particular lab, we're going to actually add the kitchen shears, so that way you can use that as well. So whatever you're comfortable with, that's what I want you to start using, especially when we start with lab. Once we get into more of advanced items, I want you to use the actual tools that you're supposed to, regardless if you're comfortable or not, because I want you to learn how to use them properly. So that way you don't get hurt, someone else doesn't get hurt, and your food comes out good. If it looks good, people are going to eat it. If it looks bad, more than likely they're probably not even going to try it. So let's go ahead and start with the first thing, our bacon. We're going to actually cook this bacon in our 1 pot, because this whole dish can be prepared in 1 pot, and that's it. So we're going to go ahead and start that. But to start that, we are not going to actually cook bacon in strips. All meat products will cook faster if it's cut into little pieces. So you have 2 options. Because this is our raw meat section, and we're going to cook it's together, that's fine. If you're comfortable with the kitchen shears, you're literally going to cut the bacon into little squares, so it's cut in pieces. You can grab a couple at a time, even if that's for those of you that want to go a little bit faster. But the kitchen shears kind of do a really good job of cutting meat. Okay, if I was to use my paring knife, so again, this is my raw meat section as opposed to my vegetables over there. Same thing, you're still just going to apply pressure and cut down. There's nothing fancy about cutting meat. It's not a vegetable where you can just, start chopping away. There's no reason to try to be fancy and, be crazy or whatever. It's just bacon, it's just meat, okay? Later on, when we have more vegetables to cut and to shape into different things, obviously you'll have to use your skills a little bit more. As far as the chicken goes, to prep your chicken, you always want to defrost your chicken. A couple of ways to defrost it would be in the microwave. You could put it into the microwave for a few minutes on defrost, and then because we're cooking them right away, it's actually okay. You can put it in a bowl of warm water just to kind of get the ice off of it, or you can put it into the refrigerator covered into a container so that all these juices that you see coming down is not contaminating the rest of the stuff in your kitchen. So again, same thing, because again, this is our raw meat section. We're going to use our knives to kind of cut away some of the fatty pieces of the chicken that we're not going to use, because a lot of times when people have chicken, it's going to have some leftover skin, some leftover fat, so we're going to use our kitchen shears to kind of clean it up so it's ready to go. And then of course you can always use the same thing, another paring knife to cut, or you can still use your kitchen shears to cut the meat. It's same process, same skills that we're going to be using. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with our bacon first. We already cut it up, it's in little pieces. We're gonna let that heat up, sizzle, and cook. Okay, so as you can see, the bacon has started cooking pretty well, and we have some fair amount of grease, so we're not gonna add any more grease, but we're gonna go ahead and drop in our chicken so we can start cooking that, and it's at the same time to cook. We're going to make sure that our chicken is fully cooked and not pink, and that's when we know that it's ready to eat. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and it's finishing up nicely here. As you can see, the chicken I cut in half just to make sure that the inside was cooked completely, so we are good to go. If you want crispier bacon, you can let it simmer a little bit longer, but we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're just going to do is drop in our noodles to our dish and just kind of heat those back up. They literally just came out of the hot water pot, so they're ready to go. Then we're going to go ahead and add the remainder items. So we have our spinach, so we're going to drop those in there. And we have our peas, we're going to drop those in there as well and let them heat up for a second. Okay. Finally, we're going to go ahead and add our cheese. I'm just going to drop those in there and let that melt. We're going to finish our dish here. As you can see, the cheese has melted fully, and the twist part is not only all these vegetables that we just added, the chicken and the bacon, but we're going to add a little bit of sweetened condensed milk, and that is the twist. A lot of times people are freaked out about sweetened condensed milk because they only have it in desserts, but this is with a twist. So we're literally just going to drizzle a little bit all over our dish, as you can see, and then we're going to do it a quick stir, and this will be ready to serve for you to try. All right, well, I hopefully that you learned a little bit today. We're going to go ahead and try this dish together and see what you think. Thanks, bye.